Yes, without further ado, let's just jump into it. Now, thank you very much for joining. I'm Frederick, and I'm going to be your host today. I've been in the insurance industry for the last 21 years, and I've been focusing on shaping the future of insurance. That's always been very, very close to my heart. Understanding how can we take this lovely industry of ours and transform it into maybe a little bit more agile and flexible industry. So this is me, and today we're going to talk about exactly that. We'll be talking about a brief into the future of insurance. I will then zoom in on claims, and as you can see from the agenda here, easing the pain is one of the things we're going to talk about, because I'll show you that, and you probably know this already, that in many cases, our policyholders, they feel that claiming for insurance companies just is an issue. I want to give you some directions to how can we ease that pain, and then getting started. How do we actually get started with working with innovation, transformation in the claims processes? And so that's it. For those of you who don't know our company, eData, we've been supporting insurance companies since 2008, and we are doing this in three distinct areas. We are providing underwriting services based on big data and artificial intelligence. This is specifically for vehicle data, where we are helping underwriters improve their decision-making by providing high-quality vehicle data information. We do exactly the same for claims. We like to call it claims decision support, because we believe that if you want things to work quickly, you have to work with what we call non-intrusive solutions. So our claims decision support are tools that reduce claims costs significantly, but without changing too much of your existing workflows and processes. And the last, we are also working with advisory services, where we are helping insurers, I guess you could say, getting things done, because there's a big difference between having a system, having a solution, and actually getting it implemented. So these are some of the things that we're working on. Today we are working in the UAE, in Saudi Arabia, Oman, and Egypt. Now let's move into it and have a talk about the future of insurance. And this is based on my experience, my view, a lot of research, and of course discussions and dialogue with insurance companies, predominantly in the GCC and the Far East, but literally I am talking with insurers from all over the world. So let's see where the future of insurance is taking us. There are four evolving themes in the future of insurance, and let's start with the customers. Now, since the competition is increasing, and since the importance of personalization is also increasing, there is a tendency or a trend towards the segment of one. I know that this is something that's been said for the last 20 years, where every customer is a special customer, but it's not something we've been thinking about too much in the insurance industry. But it's coming now, and we can see, especially from Far East Asia, that the focus on creating individualized services, the focus on having one policyholder that matters is really increasing. And of course, that has quite a few implications for how you run your insurance business, because now you cannot just look at a segment of policyholders. You actually have to look at your systems, your thinking, your communication, to focus on each and every policyholder. I'm talking about policyholders, and we can thank social media and the internet for this. The policyholders' patience is gravitating towards zero. Now, our policyholders, our customers, are spoiled with all the social media, the self-service portals that we have, spoiled with Amazon, the Netflix of the world, where really we're looking at the concept of instant gratification. So when the policyholders, they come from an Amazon website, Netflix, or Google, where they find everything they need immediately and solve their issue immediately, they expect the same from insurance companies. And this is also not something that we're used to. We have a process that has to be followed, and we have to get the approvals and everything. So we're looking at customer segments which are having approximately 0 patients, which means that we have to figure out how can we create future services that actually gives the customers exactly what they want here and now. And as you can see from the last point on the customers individually. So we have to say, okay, how do we also cater to this concept of a segmented one? You can take this directly into products or services. We are looking into an increasing number of micro insurances coming, and there is an insurance for that, especially when you look outside the Middle Eastern region. You see an increasing number of micro insurances. When you take an Uber or a Grab, then you are insured for that specific trip. You can be insured for basically everything that you want for any time that you want. It is coming. It is coming. And again, that has several complications for us who is not really yet used to working on micro insurances. We need our systems and our technology to be adapted. We need our underwriting services to be adjusted and adapted. How do you underwrite an 11-minute Uber ride, for example? Not many of us know how to do that, but this is where we are headed in the future. And then the last is we will slowly see Internet of Things like smartwatches or telematics in vehicles on the rise. Telematics is increasingly big in Europe and the US, but still has to come to the region here. Moving on and having a look at technology, I see that the concept of big bang core replacements, it's existing, but it's not really something that's happening anymore. Now the concept is more modernization, because replacing your core systems it's a 3 to 4 year venture, and we don't know where the world is 3 to 4 years from now, which means that if you start a 3 years venture of replacing a core system, then when you're ready, you already have a lot of changes that you have to make from day one. But that's not that being said, we still need to change, because the legacy systems that we have are not good enough. So we have to find a way around how do we deal with this schisma that our core systems needs to be changed, but we don't have the time, maybe even the money to change them. But at the same time, we need to change. And what we're talking about today, AI, we hear about it, we read about it. It's all over the place, but it's also nowhere. We talk about it, we hear about it, but I'm yet to see a lot of proper AI implementations in our insurance industry. For our ecosystem, and this is the last thing we touch about when we're looking at the future of insurance, we are seeing an exponential increase in digital insurers. And when I say digital insurers, I mean both digital insurance distribution, but also insurance companies wanting to do a spin-off and creating their own digital entity. That is coming, and that has implications for us incumbent insurers, because the reason the insurers are focusing on digital distribution channels, the reason that the insurers are focusing on these entities is because they want to create something more flexible, some more unique. And that also takes me to the embedded insurance, which is definitely on a rise. The problem with embedded insurance, or the challenge with embedded insurance, is that in my world, when you embed an insurance product, the insurance product becomes a secondary product, a non-important product for the customer. And that means if we are not capable of making it very, very easy for the embedder to sell our products, they won't. It also means that we have to rethink how we are dealing with our customers, because embedded insurance, then the insurance is sold through somebody else like Amazon and so forth. And that being said, now let's see what I've learned from talking with insurers, especially here in the Middle East, Far East Asia, and in Europe. And they all mention these 4 core challenges. We need to look at how do we get new revenue streams? Is it new products? Is it new products? Is it new customer segments? Is it new markets? We need to create new revenue. We need more money in the bank. How do we attract new customers, both for our existing products, but also, of course, for the new revenue streams? How do we increase speed to market? The market is moving really, really fast, but currently we are probably not capable of speeding up as far as we want. And lastly, I mean, to be honest, I'm probably one of the few people who actually think insurance is really, really interesting. But new talent are not really attracted to the insurance industry, which means that it's very difficult for us as an industry to get new attract new talent to work with AI, to work with digitalization of what we're doing. So these are core industry challenges, and it doesn't stop there, because if you look at this, if you see, this is our industry having challenges, but we also look inwards into the insurance company, because there's also a lot of challenges legacy or incumbent insurers are facing. Now, we are fighting increasing overhead costs, salaries increase, rent increase. We are facing claims costs that are rising, and this goes for basically all product lines, and especially we're talking about focusing on motor today, but in motor, the vehicles are becoming more and more complex to repair, which means that the claims costs here are on the rise, but that doesn't mean that the premiums are increasing, and because we have the price competition. We are still looking at, when we're looking at claims, we're also looking at a fraud that I believe, especially in the GCC region, is above the global industry average, which makes the claims cost even higher, because we still have to pay for it if we don't catch it. We are fighting with legacy systems. We are fighting with the concept of technical debt, which is completely webinar in its own. I'm not going to get too much into this, but this is one of the reasons that we can't deliver at the speed that we want today. We also experience poor customer service across the whole line. It takes too long to deal with our customers. There is an internal bureaucracy, and we are working in silos in the insurance industry. So it's very difficult for us to coordinate and get things done fast. And then at the end, the value chain, our providers, our hospitals, our workshops, or whoever we use to handle the claims are uncontrollable. It's difficult for us to control them, which again contributes to claims cost, fraud, and so forth. And if that's not enough, when you look at policy serving and admin, then our customers are not very happy with what's going on in the industry. But another thing which I actually think is quite interesting to look at here, and one of the reasons that we're having this webinar, is if you look at the positive sentiment for insurers, then customers or policyholders are actually quite happy with the distribution side, the sales side. And I believe that this is true, because most insurance companies actually have a quite good storefront where you can buy and configure your products. And so I'm not going to talk too much about this, but what I want to talk about is how do we go and do the same for the claims? I sincerely believe that the next battle, the next fight for the customers, for the customer experience, is going to be on the claims. Now the playing field is leveled, evened out on the distribution side. I guess you can say we all have the same prices. We all have fairly good storefronts where people can buy the products online. And then what? Well, next step is policy servicing. How do we service our customers, and how do we take care of them when you have a claim? And that's the focus of today. Let me just double click on why we have this negative sentiment for claims. Our customers, they still feel that calling and messaging insurance companies is a headache or a pain. They're worried if they call us or the messengers, they don't feel we listen and get back to them. There is the brand perception, which is less focused on individual insurance companies, but much more on the industry as a brand. Insurance is a product that nobody wants to buy. It's a product that's forced upon us, because you can't get a home loan, you can't get a car on the street, and so forth, if you don't have insurance. And insurers have this negative reputation of just trying whatever we can do to not pay our claims. If you're looking at specifically in motor claims, you can also see that there is 69% of all people, they've had a bad experience with the repair of their vehicle, which is quite concerning to be honest. It goes over to the claims processes, where also 2/3 they feel that the claims process itself is not good enough, and I guess that follows also to the accident and damage care. Now, if you can see of these, we have calls and messages, the claims process, accident and damage care. These have all to do with the user experience, how we take care of our customers. And even though our policyholders, they give us this bad marking, it doesn't seem that user experience is in super focus for insurance companies. So these are some, I think this is, I think top 20 or whatever accounts of the insurance companies' focus for 2024, 25, and 26. And the red ones is where I guess you can say this has something to do with customer service, with claims management, and it's 3 out of them. So the user experience is not in focus for insurance companies, which is concerning, of course, especially when you look at this, saying that you still have basically nobody likes our servicing and our claims management, and we have to do something. And that's why you're here. That's why I'm here. That's why we're talking, because I wanted to give you some ideas to how can we get started with this, because one of the things that I'm also seeing is when I talk to insurance companies, they all understand this problem. They all understand and appreciate that they're not good enough for claims management and policy administration servicing. And then me being me, I'm asking, so why don't you do something about it? And in many cases, the answer is no. We're just waiting for this person to join the company. No, we have to do this first. After this flood claims are over. So there is always an excuse, a non-valid excuse, if you ask me, to not doing something now. And I understand why. It's not easy, because if it was easy, it would have been done already, right? But whenever I talk to people, it's we'll do it later, or I'm so busy right now, so I can't look at it. But that doesn't make the problem go away. In my experience, you have to start now, baby steps, do something. just don't do nothing, or hope that the next person joining will solve the problems. Because he or she won't. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. If you don't start doing something now, it'll never happen. So I'm hoping with what we're talking about here to get you to at least motivated to try to do something. And let's try to look at some of the things that you can do. Now, this is a high level overview. If you're going to automate your claims process, that there are 4 things that you need to do and take into consideration. You must secure your data quality, and you must understand the data availability. And already here, many of you and the people I talk to, they say, oh, we know our data is bad and so forth, right? It's not necessarily true, because insurance companies are financial institutions that are built on data. Our claims are built on data. So data, in most cases, are there and in a fairly good quality. The problem is more that we don't know where they are and how to use them. So don't think or believe that not having data is the problem. I can guarantee you, even from the worst data set, we can derive a lot of value for the systems and the services that we're providing. So data is there, and not a bigger problem as you think. Another thing, when you're starting on automating your claims processes, make sure that whatever you do is including cost containment. Why? For many reasons. First of all, it's healthy business, making sure that you reduce your claims cost. But when you do this in parallel, when you make sure that you're also doing cost containment measures, then you are freeing up resources, money, to pay for the further projects. So if you do this in small steps, you can go to your management and say, listen, I've already saved this money. Can we then fund the next round? And this is how I believe that you do transformation. And of course, and I'll get into this later, but make sure when you're doing this, that you're not automating bad processes. That just make you'll have the same processes, just faster, right? Same bad processes, just faster. So spend a little time on making sure that when you do automation optimization, that you're actually doing it on processes that you want to have. And then at the end of the day, work with the technology to deliver. And again, let me just raise a flag here. I'm being asked so many times, what claim system should I have? Which product should I buy? How should I go about my CRM system or policy administration system? Which one should I buy? And my response is, it really doesn't matter, as long as you know what you want to use it for. Because I've seen so many times you buy the shiny new object, and then you have it's implemented, and then the organization is not using it because it hasn't been properly introduced, it hasn't been properly defined. I'm claiming that almost any system will work if your processes are optimized and you know exactly what you want the system to do. happy to be challenged. So you can claim me. The chat is open. So if you have a different opinion, please write, and I'd be very happy to talk about it. But let's just talk about some of these things that we are talking that I'd like to focus on. The fix the basics. We just spoke about the four things: data availability, the claims cost reductions to allow further investments, make sure that your internal processes, information handover is in place, and then use whatever technology that you have available. And let's just focus in on this a little. Now, as I said, data is available, but you have to know what you're looking for. You can, because if you don't know what data you're looking for, you won't find them. It's like the Alice in Wonderland. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Make sure that you understand your use case. What is the first thing we want to do? We want to save cost. We want to improve customer service. We want to improve our underwriting. We want to do predictive analysis. And if we want to do predictive analysis, why? What are we going to use it for? Then define what is the minimum viable data set that I need. And you'll be surprised how little you can get ahead with. How little you can get ahead with. I mean, we have cases where we can prove to save up to 6% of your motor claims costs just by a simple Excel file of your data, of your claims data. So it is, you don't need the advanced data set. You don't need advanced data, at least not in the beginning, to get started, to get the benefits. And as I just said, refine as you go. Start with the minimum and then slowly work on it. Then you review, you get experience, then you find another data set, because now you start to be very focused on this that you want and what you need. And then you can go look for that data. When you find it, add it into your systems, and then you will get more and more benefits. And another one that I like to do is apply brain. When you go through the data set, just make sure that you go through the data set with specialists. So the data that you will apply, you'll start using, actually makes sense. I mean, if you just make a data dump from an Excel file, maybe you don't even know what these data are representing. So just make sure it makes sense, and spend some time to clean the data. Again, once you start working with them, you will slowly start to clean them. But these are the 5 things I would recommend that you start thinking of when you're working with data. Now, for the next thing I'd like to talk about, I would like to invite a special guest, Stedjen, which is our general manager for AI claim solutions and artificial intelligence with eData. And he will take you through a couple of slides on how you can use AI to do claims cost reductions. So Stedjen, I hope you're with me, and you can put the video on and maybe introduce yourself a few seconds.
Yes, I will. I hope everybody can hear me.
Now we can hear you, yes, but we can't see you.
Okay, so, no, because I'm not allowed on the video yet. But that's for now. So my name is Stijn. I'm from the Netherlands. I am running the claims part for eData, which we actually introducing an only product, which is shortly said a SaaS solution, which you plug in different parts of your claims process. It's non-intrusive. So what we actually see is that organizations where we work with, as Allianz, Tokyo Marine, Sompo, for example, they plug it into their own core system, or they plug it into their claim system that they bought, for example, which is the examples Fred just gave. Our claims management filter is actually based on 3 levels, which is the first one, which is described here in the slides, is the business rules. Those are actually yes-no questions. Every question a claim adjuster of a claim administrator normally asks while looking at a claim will be automated decision made with our solution. Combined with that, in the second layer, which is the very interesting layer, is our statistical rules. And here is our AI engine integrated in, because the statistical rules tell something more about the likelihood of the amount of the claim. And we train our engine based on historical data. And as Fred already mentioned really clearly, most people think you need a big data set, everything needs to be structured, but that's not true. Because basically with a simple set of data, we can analyze already the decisions you as an organization has made in the past to help claim adjusters make better decisions and outline and identify outliners, for example, or potential fraudulent claim.
So Stephen, if you don't
I
mind,
always describe this solution as, yeah.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. I actually have the next slide. Maybe you want to talk about this because this is what you're getting into now, right? Yeah, so I rudely, completely cut him off because I just wanted to introduce the next slide. If you can hear me, Stephen, then come back on. Otherwise, I'll try to do my best to explain this one. All right, so we lost the young gentleman. I don't know if I was too rude to interrupt him, so he just decided to quit. But following on what he was saying, Stephen, he was saying, then the system here, the decision-making filter is applying the rules, the three set of rules he was talking about, the business rules, statistical rules, and benchmark rules onto each and every aspect of your claims process. And that helps you with a couple of things. First, it is a non-intrusive solution where we will not change the decisions of the claims handlers, but we will give them a color. Should we stop and investigate? Should we proceed and ask questions, or should we just approve and move on? Whether the insurer wants to use this or not, it's basically up to them. But they get this information and they can say, okay, this is orange, let me continue, or this is and get into the questions and move on. Now the results of this are extremely interesting. We've already run a few installations and proof of concepts, and some of them I can give you the examples from, and you can see here what we do when we do POCs with insurance companies here in the Middle East at the moment, and worldwide, I should say as well. It's running in 17 countries plus the 6 countries of GCC. We get a sample of claims, and I said it earlier, it can be only a spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. We get a sample of claims. We use those claims plus a workshop with the claims team where we understand current rules and workflows. These things we use as input to our AI model, where we train the model. And then based on this, we run a simulation on the claims data set that we have. If we are able to get images, we can use visual AI to look at the images, to put them into categorizations. We can do the same with the character recognition. So we can read police reports and other reports, categorize them, and use them in training the model. You can see here, which I think is pretty amazing, that when we run these proofs of concept, we demonstrate and prove that we can save up to 10% of your claims costs. 10% of your claims costs in a competitive world in motor claims. That is amazing, and it's working. And you can see there is even a benefit in reduction in handling time. And if you see in proof of concept number 2, we couldn't get any reduction of handling time here because we didn't even get a meeting with we didn't have time to get a meeting with the claims team. So we only use this on a pardon my French here, on a not too good data set, but yet we were capable of finding 6.3% of loss ratio reduction. So, and this is a non-intrusive solution. You can plug into any claim system anytime you want. And when I'm talking about ways of optimizing, easing your claims process, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You can get started with this tomorrow. You don't have to do any changes to the ways of working. So this was from and of course when you do this, then you'll free up money to pay for the next processes. And the next process, which I think is exceptionally important, is understand how you work with your teams. In my experience, when we talk about digital transformation, new systems, process automation, optimization, I can tell you, you can get a 30 to 40% process efficiency just by understanding how your teams are handing over packages between each other. So if today, this example here, you have a customer calling, the agent is not available or aware of the answer to this question. So they raise a ticket. This ticket is sent to a ticket inbox where there is 15 people looking at it. Since there's 15 people looking at it, nobody does anything. A couple of weeks later, the customer calls complaining. They look into the ticket inbox, they find the ticket, but they don't have the information that they need. So they have to call the customer back, wait for the customer to come back, maybe fix it. If this is a claim, then you have to go to finance. Maybe finance don't have time or they need additional information. So there is a huge area of improvement just by optimizing how handovers takes place between teams, business units, and even software applications. Sit down, talk to the teams, understand. You will find so many quick wins. You will find so many quick wins. I guarantee you. It is such an easy task to do, to understand the end-to-end process, the handovers, and eliminate all the dare I say stupidities in this. And this will enable you to get much faster customer service, much faster claims handling. Simply, and it doesn't require any systems. It requires that you understand the end-to-end process and talk to everybody and listen to their grievances and ask them how to improve those specific steps. And the last thing that we have is of course the use to available technology. And I already had my rant about not changing the core, but trying to modernize it. And the concept of technology architecture is you have your database, you have your interface, your business logic, and then you have your user interface. I'm just showing you this really quick because what I want to say is when you're working with enterprise, tech enterprise, when you're working with systems like this, if you understand how to isolate your core through data interfaces, then you open up for a way of working more efficiently with your existing systems. This is called multi-speed IT. I believe it was Boston Consulting Group that coined that term in the 90s, and Gartner picked up on it, and now it's a thing. The idea here is that you understand that you have 2 or 3 layers in your tech architecture. You have your core, your transactional core. This is your financial and transactional data. This is what we know as our legacy systems today. Instead of changing that, then you create an AI layer around it. Sorry. You do not create an AI layer, you create an API layer around it. And this API layer is connecting whatever needs to connect down to the core. And then on top of this, you can build your new systems that has the business processes, the business rules. And on top of this, you can build your customer portals. It is not as complex as I make it sound, but it is the concept of understanding this is how you work with technology for a faster and more efficient deployment of new products and services. You need to have these connections there, and you need to isolate the core. You need to take as much functionality out of your existing core systems and put it into your business process and business rules outside the core through a connectivity layer. Most insurers are working with this in some kind today, but I still see a lot of use cases where you still have your CRM or your customer engagement, customer service in the transactional core, which means if you want to do changes to this, it'll take forever. And that's not what we need at the moment. This is definitely not what we need at the moment. So think multi-speed IT. Think multi-speed IT. And again, don't rush to change the systems. Just understand how you work today. I said it in the beginning as well. When you are looking at new systems, make sure that you understand the questions that you want to ask. And then when you've answered all these questions, then you can start looking at what service do we actually need? software do we actually need? Think the processes first, sit with your teams, understand the end-to-end processes, understand where are the stupidities that we can eliminate, and then what are the questions that we need to answer, and how can technology help us answer those questions or support it? And then you can start looking into how should our shiny new object, our shiny new claim system look like? So don't rush in, don't think that a new claims processing system, don't think that a new system is the answer, because it's not. I guarantee you it's not. The answer is understanding what you want to get out of it and then work on that. So I can't say this enough. I simply cannot see that enough. So I hope this gave you an idea of some of the things that we can do, looking at the data quality, the implementing of cost containment, building the right processes, and then adapt the technology. And probably you're thinking, okay, how do we actually get started? How do we actually get started with all this? And I have some suggestions here. This is a complete concept in its own, and again, I said it a couple of times. It's a complete webinar in its own, where this is our playbook for successful digital transformation or business transformation for insurance companies. We have these for the actions. We have lift and shift plus. You can see we already talked about don't modernize the core. We've talked about being realistic, and then what I want to say here today is how do we get started, right? Just do it. And from the organizational point of view, we have the whole idea and talk about the HR structure and how to motivate people. I'm a firm believer that you cannot successfully perform a digital transformation with the business as usual team that you're having today. Not because they're not competent enough, but simply because they don't have the time. You need to create a new team, and that requires a new thinking of your HR structure. IT architecture we already spoke about, but one of the things that I want to point out here is also your process mining. How do we measure the results of what we are doing? I just have these two things to say, and for the just do it. And this is from continuing my rant in the very beginning, saying that I've heard so many times that the insurance executives, they say, yeah, we will, but we're waiting for new directors to start. We're waiting for this new team to begin. We're waiting for this system to be ready. And you can wait until the sun goes black. You have to start now. You have to start now in the small. When you're looking at implementing AI into all this, find these non-intrusive solutions that we spent some time discussing on claims containment, for example. This is a magic box. You export a file information and it come back with a solution or a suggestion for your decision. It's the same for underwriting. But look at these non-intrusive solutions. Why? Because they don't require you to do changes to your workflows and your processes. You don't have to fight with bureaucracy. You don't have to fight with culture. You don't have to fight with silos. You get the benefits of AI without changing how you're working today. So get started with non-intrusive solutions. This is actually, it's absolutely core to being to successfully starting transforming your claims experience. Start in small, but get started. Don't think that the next person joining or when this system is ready, it's going to change. It will change nothing. It will change nothing. It only changes when you take the first step. And you need to know where you want to go when you take that first step. It is not as dangerous as it may sound, but I guarantee you, if you don't do it, nothing will ever happen. And I guess you're listening to me now because you're interested in making things happen. So I hope I pushed you a little to make things happen, at least taking the first step. The other thing I just wanted to say is the concept of process mining, and this is a complex slide, and I understand this, but when you start working with automation, when you start working with your claims processes, your claims workflows, AI and claims, it is a very good idea to deploy the concept of process mining. Process mining is again a non-intrusive technology that basically measures units per time. And when you start using process mining, you can measure how many claims can each person have handled per time, how many calls and all these things. Some of them you're already measuring, but process mining also identifies the culprits. It identifies the the bottlenecks and helps you understand where is it that we need to start putting our efforts when we are automating, optimizing our claims process. Process mining also gives you very, very tangible benefits. It can show because you've done this, you've reduced your processing time with this much, which can be the equivalent of this much money. So think process mining and the process mining technology when you are, maybe when you've begun on this journey, you don't, if you start with this, then again, you might end up finding it too complex. So start with the small, non-intrusive AI solutions that are out there. I'm happy to elaborate on this if you want to know more after this webinar. Just get a hold of me and I can help you. But this is where we get started. Once you get a success on this, you can build on this, implementing process mining or whatever you need to prove that what you're doing is giving the benefits that you're looking for. Now, I'll stop talking now before I give the word to our founder and CEO just for a closing remark. And we spoke about the future of insurance. We deep dived on claims. We deep dived on how to ease the pain, what 4 principles you need to think of when you are starting to look at claims cost automation or claims process automation and how to get started. The chat is open, and while I just give the word to Pascal, then you can ask questions if there is. So Pascal, please, over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Fred, for this great explanation. Well, most of you, they know me by now. I'm the founder of Autodata a long time ago. Then I started eData, and it was not an easy journey, to be honest. It took a long time before the market understood how they could benefit with data. And as I speak to many CEOs, they said, Pascal, after 16, 17 years being in the UAE, providing data, maybe it's interesting you add more products to your portfolio. And when we did a roundabout and we asked what's the biggest challenge, they say claims. We face big issues with claims. So about 2 years ago, we started to investigate the best possible solution, how to reduce the claim cost. Now, we found this company active in 17 countries worldwide, where AXA, Zurich, GIG, Allianz, they work with that system. And we took the full rights for the Middle East. And I'm happy to announce that we, at the moment, rolling out more than 10 POCs for insurance companies. And we guarantee that the loss ratio will go down with minimum 2%. Now, I strongly believe that this is not for all companies, but companies who will start using it will directly benefit from our proposition. And as most people know, I'm here for the long term. First 10 years, we invested just to show and prove how insurance companies could benefit from our data. Now, I'm happy to announce that 70–80% of all insurance companies work with our data, and now offering this claim management filter will take off very rapidly. And I strongly suggest that no matter what type of solution you choose, if it's ours or an alternative solution in the market, just start working on improving company results, because I think only together we can become stronger in this very challenging insurance market. And the last thing I like to say before ending this session, we will start soon with breakfast meetings. And some selected people, especially who attended this type of seminars, will be invited to attend those breakfast meetings, where we invite 2 very interesting speakers. So it's not about eData, it's not about claims, but there will be adjacent subjects which we will cover. And I would be more than happy to send you an email and to invite you for this breakfast meetings. The first one is in about 2 weeks, and the spaces are limited. We only have 30 seats, so I would really welcome you to this session. Once again, thank you so much for attending this very interesting topic, which Frederick always does. He's very knowledgeable, he's very engaged, and I really like to thank Frederick for all the effort you put in the presentation of this. So have a great day, and I give you back to Frederick.
Thank you so much, and thanks for your kind words. Yeah, and last thing is the breakfast seminars is going to be called the AI Academy for insurers. So we plan to create a string of them where we basically offer the select few a mini education in AI for insurance, and it's going to roll out in, as Pascal said, in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned on our LinkedIn channel, of course. And if you want to know more personally, then just contact us either through LinkedIn or directly on our website or mail. So again, thank you very much for participating. It's been a pleasure having you, and have a very good remainder of your day. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.